Hi everyone, welcome to day 4 of the Vigilant Prayer Season 19. Our theme for this prayer session is praying for the 7 mountain mandate. Today we focus on the business mountain. On 20th March 1602, the Dutch East India Company or the United East India Company was established to trade and ship spices and silk throughout Europe. It was the first formally listed publicly trading company in the world. It is the forerunner of the modern-day large corporations. Using this model, the British East India Company became a corporation. Though they are late to the game, the British East India Trading Company, established in 31st December 1600, later grew large and finally became another publicly traded company like the Dutch East India Trading Company. The British East India Company outgrew all their competition and became a dominant player in Asia, Southeast Asia. At the peak of their power in 1803, the British East India Company had a private army of about 260,000 people. This is twice the size of the British Army, with Indian revenues equivalent to 229.9 million pounds in today's currency. This is how a business from a small kingdom island grew to subjugate almost the whole world. India is 13 times larger than Britain and had larger armies at that time. In today's world, businessmen, especially in Christian circles, have a bad name. In fact, it is almost taboo to say that one is a businessman in a church. I would like to draw your attention to a Bible verse which I think is almost misunderstood and is used for the wrong reasons. Let's study the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verses 10 to 31. I would like to add that though the verses in the Bible are from the original text, the titles are added by the writers of the Bible. It is not in the original text. So I just want to read from verse 10. A wife of noble character, who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. Verse 12. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. And after this, we see something interesting about this lady, this Jewish lady, almost 3,000 years ago. She's careful in her work. In verse 13 it says, she selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships bringing her food from afar. So in this portion we see that she is very careful and she works hard. So this is a working lady. She has some kind of a small business that she runs. In verse 15 we see she gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her male and female servants. So in this portion we see that she does not neglect her family. Sometimes in the business world, especially today, we are so busy making money that we sometimes forget our family. But through the example of this Jewish lady, we should learn that we should never ignore our families. Sometimes business almost takes all of our time. Sometimes we don't get sleep at night. But I feel it's more beneficial long term to prioritize our time with our family more than the time at our businesses. And this lady does that. In verse 16 it says, she considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her task. So here we see that she chooses carefully how to expand her business. Sometimes, we are not very ambitious. Whereas we see in this Jewish lady that she wants to expand her business way beyond what she already has right now. And she's hard at work here. Verse 18 and 19, she sees that her trading is profitable. I just want to repeat that verse. She sees that her trading is profitable, and a lamp does not go out at night. In her hand she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. Okay. Now, I just want to focus on these two verses, especially verse 18, which says, she sees that her trading is profitable. She ensures that she is making money in this business. She ensures it. Sometimes, I've heard a preacher say that, a businessman who's a preacher say that, in a business, the primary purpose is to create employment. If you do all the godly values in our business, the bloodline, the blood that will flow through us will be the profit. And sometimes we get this all wrong, because normally our first priority is money. But we should understand that if we understand what a business should be, primarily making employment for the people around us and contributing to the local economy, the profits will flow, like how the bloodline flows through our veins in a human body. We don't go after blood. When we eat and we get nourished and we exercise and we do everything that is healthy, the blood automatically flows. We don't have to go after it. But when we are greedy, we go after riches, and that is a wrong way of looking at businesses. She is profitable, but she doesn't go after money. Just want to make that distinction. Verse 20, it says, she opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. So, in today's world, there's something called CSR, corporate social responsibility. And in those days, 3,000 years ago, a Jewish lady understood CSR. She opened her arms to the poor and the needy, and she was able to provide for them as well. Verse 21, when it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. Now, I feel what this indirectly kind of says is that her household, so a household can contain her family, can contain her children, her husband, but also a household can contain servants. Now, usually a servant is never considered to be taken care of, but in this case, she takes care of her employees as well. Now, in any business, normally what we look for is clients and customers and the income that they generate. But in recent times, there have been a backtracking of this notion. We can see a lot of TED Talks which talk about this, and they first talk about take care of your employees, because they are your best advertisers. The more you take care of your employees, the more they will promote you, the more they will promote the business, the more they're confident in working for you, the more they're confident in the product we deliver. So, like this Jewish lady, she takes care of her employees first. Let's do that in our daily lives. Verse 23, her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes a seat among the elders of the land. So, in the olden days, the city gate is where the respectable people in authority, people who ruled the city, would sit and even pass judgments at the city gate. So a husband is one of the respective people. Now, I would also like to flip this. In case we are a businessman and you're married, I would say let your wife be respected in the authority. Sometimes we promote ourselves so much that we don't give credit to our other family members, our spouses especially, who stay with us and support us. And hence, sometimes marriages break at the cost of a business. So I just want to ask that we will treat our spouses with dignity, with honor, and keep them in a high place in society, not to treat them badly. Verse 24. She makes linen and garments and sells them and supplies the merchants with sashes. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at days to come. So I feel this two verses, 24 and 25, talks about there's something about her that she's not worried about hard times. And this could only possibly be because she has saved. Now, one of the quotes from this popular business investment show called Shark Tank is, the best way to raise money, the best way to get an investment is to save money. And we see that 3,000 years ago in Israel, this Jewish lady saved so much that when there were hard times, when there were tough times, she was able to laugh at those days. She was in comfort in those days. Hence, I want to promote this thing of saving. Saving a portion of your wealth, saving a portion of your income on a daily basis, which would, in case you want to start and extend your business, this would possibly be a fuel to that because she saved. And then at the final few verses, we see her character. She speaks with wisdom. Do we speak with wisdom? And faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat bread of idleness. I would like to focus on the portion of the verse which says, faithful instructions on her tongue. Do we talk idly and try, in order to promote ourselves, do we try to even lie? It is something that we need to look into. Because in this verse we see, she speaks with wisdom and faithful instruction is on her tongue. And then she watches over the affairs of the household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Nothing that she has not earned, she does not eat. Her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all, he says. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. I mean, one thing unbelievable about this verse is that this is about 3,000 years ago in a very restrictive culture, and I can't imagine a businesswoman in those days. But this verse for me talks clearly about a businesswoman in those times. And it's such a revelation to me to see how the principles of business can be taken from these verses. The primary focus of a business is to create employment around them. They also contribute to the local economies as the saving goes. A rising tide raises all ships, and this should be the effect of any business to the local economy. It should raise up the local economy. Every business should make a profit. If a business does not make a profit for more than 3 years, it is not a business and is about to go out of business. The objective of a business primarily is employment. And if we do these things right, profits will follow. There is a dire need in all developing countries to start ethical businesses. There is a lot of hurdles to overcome. I will also say that the future of missions in any nation is going to be through business, because it gives you a certain accessibility that usual missionaries do not have. One thing that all businessmen should overcome, and they go through this on a daily basis. The first thing is extortion, where a government official extracts money to perform the task he's already supposed to do, but we have to pay him to do it anyway. Second is bribery. This is totally unethical, and normally a business should never do this, where a business gives money to a government official and regulators to turn a blind eye towards illegal activities. Also, pray against greed. This should not overtake us. Pray against pride. If we think that the days of the unethical businesses are over, let's fast forward to 1994, a few years ago. Amazon was born and currently has a turnover over $233 billion worldwide. And we have Uber Technologies, formed in 2009 and currently has a turnover of $11.27 billion on their revenue stream. And what is common is that they are both disruptive companies and hailed in the modern world. But one thing that they have done is they changed government policies, defied governments, and aggressively taken over prevalent markets. They even kill the local market, which goes totally against the biblical principle. They have the same aggressive approach as the Dutch and British East Indian Company. Companies like this are coming up every day and on the same model, where they flout national laws and international laws and then take over companies and in fact own portions of a nation under their name. Now, over a period of time in Africa, they have realized that businesses can change the course of a nation, and they have changed their motto to say, don't give us aid, give us trade. Basically meaning, give us a business to start and change the direction of our lives. I believe that the world can be changed by a godly visionary starting a company and contributing to the local economy and producing employment. As we end today, I just want us all to pray for the following: for godly businessmen and women to be raised up among us, for businesses to work ethically, government authorities to turn down bribes and stop extorting people and businesses. Pray for godly businesses to rise in our neighborhood. Hence, we can have better economies around where we stay. I commit this in Jesus' name. Amen.